These souls they suffer on, resigned in heart and will, until thy high behest is done, and justice has its fill. For daily faults, for pardoned crime, they joy to undergo the shadow of thy cross sublime, the remnant of thy woe. O by thy patience of delay, thy hope amid their pain, thy sacred zeal to burn away disfigurement and stain. These words of Cardinal John Henry Newman beautifully illustrate the joyful sufferings of purgatory. But can we do anything to give them relief from their pain? The Bible gives us a ton of consolation. Does anyone pray for such people in the Bible to give them some kind of relief from their suffering? In 2 Maccabees chapter 12, we see Judas Maccabeus, a military commander of the Israelites, sending 1,200 drachmas of silver for offering sacrifice in the Jerusalem temple for the sins of the Israelites who died in war. From verses 43 to 45, it goes on to say that it was a holy and pious thought to pray for the dead, for by making atonement for the dead, they might be delivered from their sin. In fact, even today, the Jews pray for their dead. In this passage, we see the Jews offering sacrifices, liturgical sacrifices for their dead. That's why the early Christians used to celebrate the holy sacrifice of the Mass for their departed ones. But these souls cannot be in paradise or hell. This place we call purgatory. In the book of Tobit, we see the righteous man Tobit instructing his son in chapter 4 verse 17, "Place your bread on the grave of the righteous." According to a few Jewish sources, it was bread and wine. But why? Tobit advised his son Tobias to keep bread and wine on the tomb so that a poor, hungry and needy person may come eat the bread and drink the wine, and so the soul of the deceased might be helped thereby. Here we see an example of giving alms for the deceased soul. Again, in 1 and 2 Samuel, we see the people of Jabesh Gilead. When Saul and his sons died, they fasted 7 days for them. David and his men did the same by fasting for them and all the Israelites who had died in battle. Again, in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 29, St. Paul says, "Otherwise, what do people mean by being baptized on behalf of the dead? If the dead are not raised at all, why are people baptized on their behalf?" St. Paul says that it was the custom among the early Christians to baptize the souls of dead people. What is he talking about? Don't be confused. In the Bible, baptism often means afflictions and penance. For example, in Luke chapter 12 verse 50, Jesus says, "I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how constrained I am until it is accomplished." Again in Mark chapter 10 verse 33, he says, "Are you able to drink the chalice that I drink, or be baptized with the baptism with which I am baptized?" Here Jesus talks about pain and affliction as baptism. This means St. Paul was talking about the custom of the early Christians to take up penance and mortification for the souls of their faithful departed. So from all these Bible verses, we can see that it was the custom among the Jews and early Christians to pray, give alms, fast, take up mortifications, and even to offer sacrifices. In the case of Christians, to offer the holy sacrifice of the Mass for the souls of the faithful departed. C.S. Lewis, who was a Protestant, but he believed in the doctrine of purgatory, he said, "If they are in heaven, they don't need your prayers. If they are in hell, your prayers won't do them any good. So where are they?"
Thank you for joining us on Faith Explained. If this video helped you better understand our faith, please share it with others and click on the subscribe button and bell icon to get updates on future video uploads. And if you have more questions on the Catholic faith, please do write them down in the comments below and we'll make a video about it. May Christ, who is truth, set you free.